The wind came first, sweeping low through brittle grass, then rising in sharp gusts that carried the scent of snow not yet fallen. Boone Thatcher pulled his coat tighter as he rode the ridge trail, saddle leather groaning beneath his weight, rifle slung across his back, though he hadn't fired a shot in weeks. The town behind him was already going dark, lamplight flickering behind curtains, shutters pulled against the dusk. He didn't belong in town. Hadn't for years. He noticed her by accident, just a flicker of movement near the cottonwoods that bordered his land. For a second, he thought she was a deer, thin limbs, head bowed. But when she turned, he saw the outline of a girl in a faded calico dress, the hem torn, her hair long and knotted with twigs. She stood barefoot in the dust, arms crossed like she was holding herself together. He didn't stop. Not at first. He rode past, jaw clenched, eyes hard on the trail. Let the world break itself. He'd patched enough strangers already. But half a mile later, he slowed. Then turned the horse around with a muttered curse. She was still there, same as before, though now she was seated on a rock, her arms around her knees, eyes shut. Boone dismounted without speaking, walked to within a few feet, and said, "You lost?" She didn't look up. Just nodded once. He stared at her a while longer, weighing silence against decency. Then he said, "You can come as far as my porch. No further." She followed without a word, limping slightly, her soles dark with dust and blood. The walk to the cabin was quiet, save for the creak of saddle leather and the wind brushing low across the plains. She didn't ask questions, and he didn't offer any. Inside, the fire was low but alive. He stoked it with practiced hands, then poured stew from a kettle that had simmered all day. When he slid the bowl toward her, she hesitated, then took it with both hands and began to eat, slowly, as if unused to real food. "You got a name?" Boone asked. "June." That was all. No last name. No explanation. Just June. He let the silence stretch, listening to the wind whistle through the gaps in the shutters. She ate every bite, then folded her hands in her lap, spine straight, eyes never rising from the floorboards. "You can sleep by the stove," he said. "Just one night." She nodded again. That night, he didn't sleep easy. Something about her presence stirred up things he'd buried deep. Memories of another woman in this house, another night with wind and silence between two people who didn't know how to speak the things they carried. He heard her humming once in her sleep. Just a single line of a melody, cracked and unfinished, like something a child would sing before forgetting the rest. He didn't recognize it, but it sat heavy on his chest the rest of the night. By morning, she was gone. Or so he thought. The blanket lay neatly folded, her bowl rinsed and dried. But as he stepped outside, he saw her by the fence, her hands wrapped around the broom, sweeping the porch as if it belonged to her. He stared a long while before saying, "You don't have to do that." "I know," she said softly. "But I want to." That was when he noticed the shoes. His old pair, too big for her feet, but laced tight. She must have found them in the chest beneath the stairs. "Town's that way," he said, nodding east. "I ain't going to town," she replied, her voice barely a whisper. "Why not?" "They talk there. They stare." "I don't want stares any more." Boone said nothing. He knew what townfolk did with their eyes, how they could peel skin without ever laying a hand. He'd seen them do it to his wife when her belly grew round, and again when the child was born cold and gray and wouldn't cry. He left for the fields after that, needing the space. When he returned near dusk, she was sitting by the fire again, a thread in one hand and a ripped sleeve in the other. Mending. Quietly. As if she'd lived here all her life. On the table, she'd left a note in pencil. Didn't take nothing. Just fixed a tear. That night, Boone uncovered the painting above the hearth. Hadn't looked at it in months. Maybe years. It was a crude thing, not done by any artist. Just him trying to remember her face. His wife. And the baby, the way he'd imagined holding him. He caught June staring at it. "That's how I imagined heaven," she whispered. Boone swallowed hard. A man painted that who never made it there. She turned her back to him and wiped her face quietly. The next few days passed like that. No demands. No questions. Just a rhythm of small things. Porch swept, wood chopped, stew made thicker. June never asked to stay, and Boone never said she could. But each day, her hands touched more of the house. And each night, Boone found himself lighting the second lantern. Then came Jeb Holloway. The man reeked of whiskey and arrogance, stumbling off his horse like he owned every patch of dirt his boots touched. He didn't knock. Just barged in while June was boiling water for coffee. Boone came in from the barn at the sound of raised voices. "She's a runaway," Jeb said, pointing. "Owes my father 3 months' work and stole a shawl besides." June didn't deny it. Just stood behind the table, pale, steady-eyed. "She's not leaving with you," Boone said. "You don't know what she is." Boone's voice dropped. "I know she's not yours." Jeb sneered. "Ask her where the baby went." June's hands trembled once, then stilled. "I buried her," she said. "By the river." Jeb stepped forward, lip curled. Boone met him at the threshold. "I'll tell you what," Boone said low. "You go on back to town, and if you speak her name again in anger, I'll bury you by the river." Jeb saw something in Boone's face that stopped him cold. He left, muttering curses, but not looking back. That night, the house was quiet. June didn't eat much. She left the mended shawl on Boone's chair and folded the quilt neatly before laying by the fire. Before dawn, she rose and stepped outside, hoping to leave before he woke. But Boone was already on the porch, watching the first flakes of snow fall. She froze. "I wasn't running," she said. "Just wanted to feel the cold one more time." Boone didn't speak. Just opened the cabin door and stepped aside. She walked in slowly, bare feet brushing the threshold. Behind them, the snow began to fall in earnest, covering the old tracks, and offering a chance to write new ones. Which city are you watching our video from? Please leave a comment. Please subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you.